light up the world. We light up the world.
Welcome back, Atlanta. I'm your host, Angel Yasmin. Thank you for tuning in on Fire to Inspire each Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Next 411 on IBNXradio.com. Today's quote is, don't let life die in you while you're still living. People plan and dream of the days where they're released from the hell pool of the workforce and into the days of retirement. Today, we're discussing the importance of the transition into retirement and what they should receive more attention from different perspectives, since experiences such as, for example, grief, disconnection, loss of identity, if unaddressed, could lead to an unhealthy transition. So we are here to save the day and light you back on fire, because life is definitely worth living. So let's welcome my two favorite people. What's going on, Denise Williams? We have Coach Caputo. Frank Caputo.
Hey, how's everybody?
Hi. Thank you, guys. How y'all feeling today?
Awesome.
Doing very well, very well. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Well, look, I wanted to, let you guys introduce who you are and what you got going on today.
All right. Well, I'm Denise Williams, and I am a sassy senior.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm retired. I've been retired for a while, and I have my own business. Well, I have whip body products and natural hair products, essential oils, and those types of things. So I'm an entrepreneur doing a lot of things.
Okay.
Yes.
Then. Awesome. Good.
Keeping it busy.
Good.
Good. Hey, that's good to hear. Listen, I'm Frank Caputo. I've coached football and wrestling and put 42 years here in the state of Georgia and
Wow.
did some stuff with some colleges, but I recently retired in May. I was sitting around getting bored because all my friends are much younger than me, the guys I coach with, so
Yeah.
I had to find an opportunity, and I started working with Connect Energy and Stream Energy, a whole new world for me because I've never had an opportunity to do anything like this before, and I've got to come out of my shell, so to speak, in order to be able to do this.
Stay busy. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds good. I mean, it sounds like you guys are keeping it busy. But, I mean, it's so fun to be on the show with you two because I actually have a relationship with you two.
Yes.
I know you guys.
Yes.
I mean, we met in our public speaking classes.
Yes.
How fun is that?
That was very awesome.
I know,
Very awesome.
wasn't
Yeah,
it? Look
we
at
had
us
a great
now.
time.
Look at where we
Right.
are now. It was
Yes.
worth it. Now I have Coach Caputo. Look, what did I see you at? Middle school or high school?
High school.
High school.
Wow, way back.
So way back.
Okay.
So fun fact, Coach Caputo was the coach that every girl, sorry if your wife is listening, my husband's listening, but everybody had a huge crush on Coach Caputo while we were in school.
I wish I'd have known that then. I might not be married.
You're so crazy. Coach, did you know that was after you, Coach?
Secretly
No, I didn't know
you.
that.
Secretly
I didn't know that. I stayed trouble nowadays for that.
Wow.
Well, look, let's talk about life restructuring. How has it been since you've been retired? Even though you're still working, but how has things changed for you and how have you balanced it all?
Well, I've been retired for quite a while. I was a widow, so that widow position left me where I didn't really need to work anymore. And so I found myself what do? You don't really have to work anymore because you're really secured. Mm-hmm. And you find yourself okay, where's the tea party? Where's the fundraiser? And at times you just I'm telling you, kind of lost because you have this time and this space. You have this money, and you really don't know what to do, to be honest. Mm. And so it was pretty challenging for a while, and then I found myself volunteering different places, and that went on for a while because I've been retired, a good little minute. So I had to find things to keep myself busy and keep myself going and not falling into a woe is me, what do I do? Right. All my friends are working, everybody's working, what do I do?
Right.
But I did create some great things, and I'm pretty happy, very excited what I'm doing now.
Good.
Yeah, find the answer.
What about you, Coach?
Hey, that sounds awesome. Hey, if I'd have known you before I came in here, you're widowed, you have money. What's the deal with that? You know what I'm saying? Maybe me and you need to get together, girl.
Okay,
hey, it's one of them things. But anyway, I know.
He was cool like that back then.
Yeah. I I retired for the second time in May. I've always been a workaholic. And so the first time I retired, I bought a farm, and we became a certified natural farm and growing and different things here and there. And then somebody called me back about coaching again, so I put that farm on hold and started coaching again. Now that I retired, I had to have something to do. I can't sit around and do anything. Farming for me at my age right now is a little bit difficult because it's it's going to be a one-man show, and that's just way too much for me.
Yeah.
So I got into a business opportunity with a guy named Ronnie Millen, former head coach over at Grady High School. We market natural gas and market wireless service and market electricity. But the thing about it is, I'm my own boss.
Good. Yes.
I don't have to depend on somebody else, actually 14 or 15 or 16-year-old kids, to go out and perform on a Friday night to determine what I can do or if I'm even going to be successful or not. Now I get up when I want, work when I want. Right. I work out of my house. I work off my phone. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. And it's a fantastic opportunity. And if I'd have known this, golly, 30 years ago, we
might have done something different.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what's good about this, too, is you get to motivate people to do things.
Right.
And that's cool. I'm still coaching. I'm just coaching in a different area, so to speak, So it's awesome.
It's awesome.
So are you guys, finding yourself going through, difficulties, but, how was it when you got back home? How is it with your children, your spouse? How is it different for them after you retire? How do they take it? How do you take it?
Well, I'll tell you what, I always wanted to be able to coach my own child, and I had that opportunity for a couple years, but it's so much more pleasurable sitting in the stands and watching him as opposed to coaching him.
Yes.
But it's also really bizarre because now I get to hear what all the people were saying about me for all these years, about how sorry I was and terrible. That coach ain't worth a damn, he ain't playing my son, So anyway, it's totally different, but it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. As far as, I've always been a Mr. Mom type guy, so I don't mind cooking, cleaning, and doing all that. And
right. And you find them doing the dishes more.
Right.
Was that difficult for you to transition? Because a lot of the times, the men, they actually have more of a struggle than the women.
Well, I did struggle because I was telling my wife, and of course I wouldn't tell my son this, but my self-worth just dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, I'm no longer at school. I'm no longer at practice. I'm not in the weight room. I'm not shooting the breeze with my guys. And doing all this. So now I'm sitting on...
disconnected,
Yeah,
you
I'm
feel
sitting in the woods.
Disconnected, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And a lot of times people are coming from these hot shot jobs. Let's think about it. If they're, the executive or the president, and all of a sudden they're retired and have nothing to actually, introduce themselves with. That was their entitlement. So, even with your positions back in the day, how did that make you feel when people started asking you, what do you do every day? How did it make you feel?
Being that I was able to be hands-on with my daughter and groom her for the position that she's in now. So, I took that opportunity to make it great.
There you go.
To make her great. So since I had this time and space, I was like, okay. And then another thing, when you're these seniors and you're retiring, we have to keep ourselves around young people, young minds, and keep ourselves going, because a lot of times if we just stop and think, then you'll get in a little stupor, where are all my partners? Everybody's still at work doing this, that, and the other. But I surround myself by happy people, alive people, young people, learn the language, talk that talk. Millennials, they keep you going.
Yes,
they keep
and you're
good.
A millennial, right?
Yes,
she was
a millennial.
Hot shot in D.C. Oh my God.
Yeah,
she's going to be the next president or something? I mean, I feel that.
What she wants to do, that's awesome. I told her, I said, you'll be the next secretary of the state of the United States. This is we're working to Congresswoman, and just make your way up, because our young people have a different mindset than Congress right now.
Right.
And I think we have you millennials have great ideas.
Absolutely.
And we need something new.
Yes.
In the government. And so my daughter Shayna Fields will be that person. Shout out to Shayna. So she keeps me going, and that's why I say sassy senior, because when we're around these young people, we learn. We're always up and we're moving and we're doing stuff. We're like Angel. Angel is fire. Angel is movement. Angel is all that. But if we didn't hang around people or just spend time in conversation with these young people, we would sit around. If we sit around and talk with seniors, man, we would talk about that, Frank. What would that be like?
Well, I don't want to learn how to knit. No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. I got too many other things. And been around, like you say, young people keeps us young, keeps us moving. I'm just excited that, that I'm not ever going to get old.
That's right.
I'm not.
It's on I think that's
right.
It's a soul thing.
That's right.
Like, there is no way. When people say, girl, you getting on, I'm like, don't claim that on me. And I'm serious about that. Like, I feel that I don't care how old you are. And when you think the race is finished, it's not finished.
That's right.
And I really think that it's important, even for marriages, people that, are seniors, sassy seniors, they need to identify who they are back in the day when they're in their 20s. Like, go back to some of those things that they were doing. Like, you might have a love for motorcycles, but when you first got married and you had children, your wife looked at you and screamed at you and say, no, you can't get on that, it's dangerous. But now that you are mature and it's ready, now it's time for you to get the Harley and just live your life. People need to understand it's important to have a life outside your marriage.
Right. Absolutely.
Seriously, that's how you get old. Like, it's okay to go out and have
a good time. I love dancing.
Oh, yeah.
You want to take it back? I like dancing. I said, daughter, show me what's up. I know, ladies, what y'all doing out there?
Stay with it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, see, I have a couple of nephews that play music, and I play music with them.
Yes.
And they're in their 20s, so I'm in my 60s.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you what, we have a ball, and we stay young, and we get after it, and we get things going, and get people up off their feet and moving, and that's awesome.
That's right.
Because years ago, when I finished my third degree, and I was thinking about getting another degree when I was at Salem High School, and I said, you know what, I'm going to learn how to play an instrument.
Okay.
And I started when I think I was about 45 or so. Heavens forbid, I'm so glad I did, because I certainly didn't want to be back in school.
Okay.
And playing and getting out with young folks and getting things going is just fantastic.
Yeah, right.
It keeps you young, keeps you moving. I love it.
Right. What do you play? Tell them what you play. I know you play.
I play a guitar. And sometimes I play the bass. But we play a lot of jam music, some country music. I'm not much of a country music guy, but more things like the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers and some jam stuff. A little bit of jazz that's really sweet.
Yeah.
It's just so fulfilling and stress relief. And like I tell my nephews, hey, the old man's here. Well, we call ourselves Frank and Beans.
Okay, Frank and Beans.
So my name's Frank, and then my two little beans. Yeah, Frank and Beans are fixing to blow this thing up tonight, y'all. So.
Well, we wanted to blow you up on the radio, but you were like, no, I don't know why we would have had you on the show.
Well, I get shy sometimes.
Yeah, right. Well, look, let's talk about, this is a question for you. Like, does your wife, when you first came home, because I know that you had this, schedule of, okay, I'm going to work, and so your wife may have been at home alone or something like that. I don't know your situation. But how does she feel now that you came home like 24/7? Because sometimes that can drive a woman crazy.
Well, that's why, yeah. And my wife's younger than me, and that's why I keep her at work. I mean, God bless her. She's out there working. Hey, kill it, baby, kill it.
They have this new term called the retired husband syndrome. Oh. And so the women sometimes feel like their freedom has been taken. So I just want to know if she ever experienced that. Like, oh my God, will you go away? Like, what do you do on your free time? Like, besides, dancing. I know you do golf. Don't you golf?
Yeah, I golf.
Yeah. So, so there was no arguments, like things have changed.
No.
Did you feel like an empty nest in the house?
No.
After kids left? Y'all didn't feel that way? Or were you ready for them?
That was an awful experience. The empty nester part is a very, very awful experience for me, because I didn't mentally totally prepare for my daughter to be gone. I did not prepare.
And y'all have a very close-knit relationship.
Very close. And so when she was gone away to college, I didn't I was really depressed, to be honest. And I wanted to, say, I need to connect with other women. We need to talk about this empty nester thing. And I really think we should, because I wasn't prepared. Right. And I got in a bad place, and I had to, call, kind of reach out. I was kind of ashamed that I was feeling that way, because I'm like, ooh, I'm all over the place.
But you look, you were out, though. You and her, y'all went out. Yeah. You partied together. You went to events together. Yes. So you weren't like the normal status of mom and daughter.
Right.
So I can.
So when that shut down, that was too much for me. And she's like, "Mommy, you calling me all the time at college?" Because I was calling her all the time, and I was visiting. Like, you're visiting too much. I'm like, okay, but help me process this, because this is a lot. So I think that should be a conversation, because there may be other women that are silently dealing with that. And really don't know how to talk to someone else about how we're feeling this emptiness.
Now, what were some of the things that you did do to get out of that funk?
I stayed there for a while. And,
really?
I just kind of went to church, and I tried to find organizations to be a part of.
Yeah.
But even being a part of the organizations, I was still alone.
Oh,
So I never was able to still connect. But I kept driving. I kept trying. I kept driving. I kept trying. I refused to get up, and I refused to really stay in that mindset. And I did come out. Because I did talk to a few people, and it just happened. I did a lot of praying, and I just had to find myself again. That's it.
There you go.
Find myself, because if everything's with your children or your husband and all this, you're like meshed together. And then what? Let's find Denise. Where is that real sassy senior? Where is she? And I had to find myself.
Did you reach out to friends and go out with them? Or, how was the friend situation? Because a lot of times we get older, and I'm down to, look, I went from 20 friends to, hell, I don't want no friends.
That's a real soul line.
Yeah. Be honest. Let's talk about that.
That's real, because, my daughter, Shayna Fields, being who she was out here in the community, Miss Who's Who, doing her thing, everybody was around us.
Yes.
I didn't have a moment to do anything. When it switched and changed, no one called my phone anymore. No one called me anymore. I'm like, where are all those friends? Where are all those people? Right. Were you only around me because of my daughter? Were you only a part of us because of the stardom and what we have and what you can bring to? And so there was no one to really reach out to. I did find a few friends to reach out to. It's really her young friends that were ministers talked to me, to be honest.
Wow.
The millennials talked to me. They respected me. They brought me out. They helped me come back.
Well, you got me, because we had an extraordinary conversation on the phone yesterday.
Yes.
So you can always call me, boo.
Hey, thank you. The young people help. I'm telling you.
Awesome.
And the people that I did reach out to just encouraged me to stay up and everything like that. And I came back. I'm back.
I do believe in energy, where I believe that you need to be, secure, and you need to make sure that you're around people that bring you alive.
Absolutely.
And not bring out those negative vibes.
Yes.
That's always got something bad to say, but bring out the fun in you. So, Coach, talk about your, what about your kids? Are you still hanging out with them? You're playing in the band with them? And
I have a 16-year-old too, so that's quite an endeavor at this point in time. Trust me. But anyway, the funny part, you talk about, Miss Denise, you talk about being sort of down and out and all this, but the thing about it is, and this is an ugly statement, but a lot of coaches over the course of their career are very lonely people. I can be in a stadium of, so many people and be around a bunch of people, but I'm still I was still a very lonely person.
Yes.
Yes. Because of all of the, I guess you could say, the responsibilities and the expectations and the future of kids. You got all this in your hands, but nobody ever thinks about what's going on inside of me.
That's right.
What do I need in order to keep going day after day after day?
Wow.
And, there's been times, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth, that, I felt like, maybe you just need to end this stuff and move, and
it's pretty bad.
Just do away with me and let's move on, let them move on or whatever, because it's lonely.
Empty.
Yes.
Empty.
You're always doing for others.
Yes.
And then when it's time for somebody to do for you, you look around and there's nobody to do this.
Right.
You know what?
And nobody ever even thinks, oh, well, look, Coach, he's strong, he's this, he's that.
Exactly.
But I have emotions and
Check on your
feelings.
strong people.
Yeah.
Check on your strong people.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you deal with that? Like, what were some of the things that you did to deal with those things on a daily basis?
Well,
Those emotions, like, how did you push through it?
I started reading the Bible.
Oh, wow. That's
You know, and the amazing, I was telling a guy the other day, the amazing part of this whole thing is that the Bible, or the book, whatever the hell you want to call it, was written so long ago, but pertains to everything going on to today. So where was that insight, and who had that insight on how all this was going to happen? Because we're learning from a book that was written so long ago,
Yes. Right.
but is so up to date.
It is. Yes. So,
And, I started going to a church
Yes.
that I think is very upbeat and positive and good music and people having a
Yes.
good time.
Yes.
And compared to the, I guess, traditional
Right.
churches where it's sort of like going to a funeral, you know?
Exactly.
I mean,
I agree.
I didn't care for it at all. So
Right.
I think, getting close to God and
That's
reading
it.
and,
That's
and
exactly.
dissecting. I mean, I always read, a verse every day.
Yes.
But I wasn't always living it like I am now.
Right,
right.
So I think that has a lot to do with
Absolutely.
it. And I was blessed too. Angel talked about working. Well, I've never worked a day in my life because I've always loved everything I do.
Yes.
Yes.
And I wasn't going to go do something that I that's work. It's like I told the young guys today, you guys got the world by the short hairs, man. Nowadays you can work off your phone, work off your
Yes.
computer.
Oh, yeah,
You can be your own boss.
Yeah.
You're not going to lay yourself off. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's
So,
it.
your future's in your hands.
That's-
and, let's make the best of it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's it.
And that's where I am now.
That's yes.
So do you guys find some time to spend alone? Are you trying to find yourself again? Like, what are some of those things that you do? Like, are you meditating? Like you said, you read the Bible, but what are some other things that you do?
Oh, I
kinda, like,
do
bring
some
yourself
meditation, yeah. We have some woods and acreage on our property. I like to get out in the woods and I just sit there in a tree stand. I'm not much of a hunter. But to listen,
That's what I'll do. I'll be
but
right
to
after
listen
and go out
to
there in the woods.
nature
Yes, absolutely.
is unbelievable.
Yes.
And
Wow,
the
yes,
sounds.
yes.
And as the sun's coming up and the dew's getting off
Yes.
the ground and you're sitting in the woods and all these sounds.
It's beautiful.
And the creek. And
That's
it just
important.
makes you feel so good about what you're doing.
Yeah, and
You know?
that's the same. I go to Stone
It's
Mountain Park,
awesome.
down in the woods. I go in the
Yes,
woods.
it's
I'm not
important.
afraid. I mean, we need to be aware. But I go and I sit and I listen, just like you, Coach Frank. And you just hear and you just feel yourself.
You have to.
And it's very, very, very good for me, and it just
Yes.
takes me to a nice, happy place.
You do.
And then and the other things I do, I work on my products, as an entrepreneur, different things, wellness, health,
Yes.
and just all those types of things. Just creating.
Okay.
Creating.
Yes.
Right now, still for the future.
Now, talk about your oil business. Like, what are you doing with your essential oils?
Well,
tell us about the product. and
Okay,
what is it?
so this is so cute. My company is called, and it's all new, is My Shea Butter, after my daughter, because she's my shea butter.
Oh, it's
and
sweet.
so it's called My Shea Butter, and it's 100% natural shea butters, cocoa butters, and essential oils, all infused together, moisturizing, hydrating skin. But the special part is, each one of my products has a name, an affirmation. So one of them is called I Am Beautiful. So when you're rubbing this on you, it's just not a product. You're thinking, I am beautiful. When you're putting on this body butter. One says, I am happy. I am at peace. I am somebody.
Yes,
So every part of my product is an affirmation. So when you're putting this on, you're thinking and you're building yourself up. And I don't want to just sell something. I want to speak to you.
Yes, that's good.
So it's a movement of empowerment, a movement to empower yourself, and you're actually doing it and you're thinking it at the same time.
And you're
so
actually
that's what I'm
putting it
doing.
into your subconscious mind
Yes.
to be those things that you're affirming.
Exactly.
So I love
So
that.
that's
so
what I'm
cool.
doing right now. And it's all new.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Thank you. I'm excited about it.
That helps
Yes.
people's confidence.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times we get older and we, like, even me, I'm in my 30s, but I feel like, I'm like, dang, I'm not in the limelight anymore. I'm not in
Right.
clubs hopping around anymore.
Yes.
So what is there to do, you know? So, you know, and I'm an extroverted
This is
person.
true.
I think both of you guys
Yes.
are extroverted. Would you agree?
Yes,
And I mean,
absolutely.
I like to get out and I like to go. I like to be around people.
Yeah.
So even now, even transitioning from college, that was a dip.
Of
It was
course.
a dip. I mean, in my spirit. So it's
course.
important that we keep your confidence up.
Yes.
Do the things that you love that makes you feel beautiful, that makes
Yes.
you feel handsome, that makes you keep going.
Well, and then this product is for men and women. So the guys get to rub themselves up and say, oh, it's not just for ladies, it's for males and females. So we have a male product, you know, and you get the rubbing and put your...
But I don't want to rub myself. What the heck is that? Are you kidding me?
No, you don't have to. You can introduce
I want soft hands on me. I want caressing hands on me. You know,
Well, you just have to get your...
you know, a woman does it a whole lot different than a man would.
That's true, but you got to do it yourself. Yourself.
Well, you know, you can do it yourself, you know.
Well, I do know myself.
You know, rub it on and say it. I'm all do the Popeye thing, you know, hey. So,
You
yeah.
guys stay in touch with some of the people that you used to work with in the past or whatever?
I do. I stay, well, you know, you were talking about having friends, but I've been a part of a lot of staffs and been the head coach of a lot of staffs. But really, when you get right down to everything, these guys are doing their thing now. And I guess you could probably say in a lifetime you might have a handful of close friends
Yeah,
that
that's true.
I rely on and talk to and get advice from. And you know, Mr. Tucker is one of my dear friends, and as crazy as everybody thinks he is, he's. I love you, John.
I just think of throwing chairs.
Yeah, but he is the most sincere.
Passionate about the game.
Yeah, he is the most sincere, level-headed person, and he looks at things totally different than I
Yeah.
do. You know, because we're from two different backgrounds and two different lifestyles. But I have about 4 or 5 guys like that, and a couple girls like that I can talk to, and they sort of keep me grounded.
Yeah.
You know.
I do too. I have friends back home. I'm from Miami, Florida, so I have friends home. I go back and they're lifetime friends.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I get to just go back to where the fun days of growing up. So I do have lifetime friends. And
you need to
and
stay
they're
in touch.
Good.
I think it's important
stay in
that you stay
touch
in
with
touch
them.
with people.
Yes, and we
Right.
follow each other on Facebook and Instagram, you know, keep up. Yeah.
Yeah, now that Facebook, I guess I don't do Instagram, but Facebook has opened up a whole new
Yes.
world for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing, on talking to people that I grew up with in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio area, that I hadn't spoke to since, 1973, 74.
Wow,
You
that's
know, it's awesome.
It is.
And,
It
you
really
hardly
is.
even miss a beat with some of them.
Yeah, that's true. So
I mean,
great.
I just think that we need to encourage other people that are going through mental problems because you're extroverted. There's a lot of people that are not extroverted and they didn't even really build those relationships that you had.
Right.
Because again, you were in the school system, so you had a plethora of people around you. So you're going to always know those people. They're going to always have something that they're going to have going on. They're going to invite you and say, hey, come on, coach, come on over here. But what about those people that, live the lonely life? What can you tell them that they could do? I encourage them to get their life back,
I really would encourage to join organizations. Find something that you like to do. Volunteer.
Yes.
Look at the list out here on United Way and these different organizations. Find what fits you and just make yourself go out here, small steps, but introduce yourself back out to society and volunteerism, to volunteer somewhere and just or find other organizations, women's groups, something
in
to
your church, all
your
those.
church, find that. But you have to do that because if you don't, what
you don't have anything to do. You're just there.
Right,
Yeah.
and you know what, though? With that being said, they also have to have the will to want to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that, if you don't have the
'Cause it's
will.
a lot.
Right, if you don't have the will, then you're not going to have the opportunity.
You might need to call somebody for some
Right.
mental health
Right.
issues
Right.
for real,
Right.
because then you're taking yourself to another place, and you need to reach out for help mental issues, and not crazy, but the loneliness, and talk to somebody. Exactly, Angel. That's it. Talk to somebody so you'll be able to make those steps. Because if not, you'll just get into a depressed state.
Oh, right.
Right. Yeah, and
Well, and there's so many opportunities for you to go out there and explore new avenues with your with your mind and with your body, and physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, all these things. Yeah. There are opportunities, but you just can't sit at home and you got to get out and get after.
And like you were saying, Angel, go to church. Try church. Try to have yourself go there, and prayerfully you're in a nice, warm environment where they're loving on you and welcoming you in this place. And if that's not where you're going, then find somewhere. And all I can say is, if not, call someone. But you can't sit there. So to what you said, to encourage someone, I guess to call someone and reach out.
Yes.
Reach out.
Just get out.
Just get out.
Because I know I cold call on a lot of people now. I've never done that a day in my life. And I went out and cold call at this apartment complex, talking to them about their gas, right? So I go in and I sit, and here's this pretty young girl, and I'm thinking, golly, I'm going to stutter all over my words. I'm not, hell, I don't even know what I'm talking about, But I told her, I said, let me tell you something, honey. I've never done this. You're the first person I've ever cold called in my life.
Wow.
So this is what I'm trying to do. Help me out. And she walked me through the whole thing. And I went back 2 days later and brought her some flowers. I said, you don't know what you did to me. I said, because if this was a negative experience, I might have not ever done it again. Now I can't wait to get up and go cold call on some people about saving money. That's what we do, help people save money.
Exactly.
And it's so much fun being able to do that. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm serious.
I'm
serious.
I get it.
Just get over that stigma of being afraid or having that fear.
That is it. Fear is fear. That's it.
It's
fear of failure.
That's it.
But you're supposed to fail. You can't grow without failure.
It builds your morale. It builds character. It builds confidence, actually.
Right.
To fall and hit your ass, you want to get up. You want to get up and you want to do it again, you need to do it again. But a lot of people don't want to do it again. So I encourage people to keep going.
Keep going.
But one more last point, because I think we talked about it briefly on the phone, about how people find themselves as a senior and they can't really live their life to the fullest because a lot of people are looking at them, you're older now, so you can't go out, you can't have drinks, you can't do this. What do you do with people that are like that are like, walking around with a broom stuck up their butt and they're just boring? Well,
I try not to pay any attention to it.
Right. You were a figurine in the public.
Right. And I had to be cautious on what I was doing in public because everybody's so judgmental.
They are.
But you know what? When I turned 50, I decided that I was going to go to a rock festival with some other guys, and we went for 4 days.
Wow.
And we have been doing it ever since.
Awesome.
And we camp, we cook out, we party down hard.
Yes.
We have a great time. And there's a lot of older folks there, too, as well as young people.
Yeah.
And it's a good time, and it's something that me and 3 or 4 of my buddies, we look forward to, 2 or 3 times a year.
That's beautiful.
To get out and get away from the house.
That's right.
Have a great time and meet some people, and it's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're going to wrap this up, but I want you guys to tell us what ignites the fire within you to do what you love the most today.
Honestly, my daughter, my Shayna, my Shea Butter. She's the fire that keeps me going and keeps me looking forward to the next day. And then my faith in the Lord. I am that person, and I love the Lord. And so these things keep me going, and I look forward to great things every day.
Well, I'm very proud of Shayna, by the way. I have to say that because I'm watching her on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm always writing on Instagram like, girl, I love you. I'm so proud of you. But, she's doing big things, and so you need to move out there with her.
Yes. And I'm thinking, really, I'm here in Atlanta. She's in Washington, D.C. She's going to be on the Hill. I'm like, I might want to go live in the Hill, live up in that area, so DMV. So I'm thinking, but I'm excited.
Well, what about you? What ignites the fire within you?
I think what ignites the fire in me now, of course, I said I had a young kid still. He ignites the fire in me. But also what ignites it is that we have been taught at least I have been taught, to go to college, get a job, work 40 years, okay, and then retire. Well, that's not where it's at, okay, and it's not.
Okay.
I want him to understand, like I was telling these gentlemen, if I work 5 hours a day and I have somebody, 5 guys working in with me 5 hours a day, that's 25 hours of work that I could possibly be making money off of, you know?
Right.
And he needs to look at a different avenue as far as how he's going to be successful. And it's up to me as a parent to show him that there are other ways other than that 40-hour or 40-year service you got to do, and then at the end of it, what do they give you? They might give you a watch. You know? Come on, I got a watch since I was 10. Oh, thanks for your 40 years. Here's a watch.
It's so great. You guys have been so much fun today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So nice to meet you, Coach.
Yes, nice to meet you, Denise.
And look, y'all, make sure you tell people how they can find you online so they can order, from you and get in touch with you for your business. So you can.
Okay, so mine on Facebook would be My Shea Butter. So it's on My Shea Butter right now. It's all new. We can go there, or you can just look up Denise Williams on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And we're moving. That's what we're doing right now.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mine, you can get in touch with me through CoachFrank.WeConnect.com, and it'll explain everything about my business, about me, the why that I'm involved with this business, because I'm still wanting to be able to, through my business, help kids that don't have what they need to have financially to be able to participate in activities in school and outside of school.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you again for joining this party with a purpose. All right, I'll catch you next week. It's getting real hot up in here because we are so fired up.
Green light.